Hello and welcome back. It is me, and today we are continuing the discussion of fallacies. But today we're talking about some of my favorite ones that I didn't get to yesterday. And we are on to challenge number 4, Darkness Falls. I think I remember this one. We'll see. Yeah. Okay, I remember it, yeah. And I need to beat Satan. Right, yeah, this one can be a little difficult. Can be. Ooh. Ooh. Very nice. So, last time we talked about fallacies, and I defined fallacies as the use of an invalid or otherwise faulty reasoning in the construction of an argument. But you know, I went through Aristotle's 13 fallacies that he personally identified, and yucky room. Don't do that. Oh! Well, I'm glad I checked those out. Whoop! Why did those flies feel like they were moving extra fast? Was that just me? Is the whole game moving extra fast right now? Am I weird? This doesn't feel like 1.23 speed. This feels like, I don't know, 1.4, 1.5. I don't know. I guess I should actually use my item here, shouldn't I? Yeah, probably. Anyway, let's get to talking about some of these more specific and, in my opinion, more interesting fallacies. I certainly have some stories related to some of these as well. So today should be a more interesting topic of conversation. And I mean, that's not enough to blow both of those open, is it? But I can certainly go in here. Oh! Yo! Okay, what I want to do is do that. Yeah. I'll do this. Cool. And don't take the heart. I need to be very careful about that. And then I do this. Voila. Keys. So, let's start off with the no true Scotsman fallacy. So this fallacy, in its most abstract definition, is, well, it's also sometimes called the appeal to purity, but it's where you make a generalization true by excluding counterexamples. Oh, great. Booster pack. That's really what I want to see. 2 of diamonds, though. That's pretty good. Yeah, I'll take those. The devil. Let's do that. I don't even remember what was in the shop anymore because I just assumed that I wouldn't be able to purchase it. So the no true Scotsman fallacy, if memory serves, comes from an argument that's... Oh. Yeah, I don't really care. Nice. Comes from an argument that went something like this. No true Scotsman eats beans on toast, something like that. And then someone else says, well, I'm a Scotsman and I eat beans on toast. And then the first guy says, yeah, well, no true Scotsman does. And I have encountered the no true Scotsman argument a lot on the internet because I am a Christian. And I have been around the block in terms of, Okay. How do I put this? The No True Scotsman fallacy is a favorite of Reddit. Let me put it that way. I am not an active Redditor. I haven't been for years now. And it really improved my mental health. But seriously, it came up a lot, particularly in religious discussions, possibly and frequently involving non-Christians as well. Ooh. No. Okay. No. I want to get these guys first. Good. Ah, no! Oh, you gotta be kidding me. All my caution. So, why does this come up so much in discussions about religion? Can I make that? Yes, nice. It's because in Christianity, both in the Bible directly, as well as Christian apologetics, there is sometimes talk. Oh, I can do that. I'll just do it that way. Wow. Great. This is, I mean, I wish I had more help, but this is a pretty good run, isn't it? So there is a discussion in the Bible of, like, particularly in, I want to say, the Epistle of James? If not Peter. I think James, where it's a discussion about how some people have left the church, and the argument is that, well, they weren't really a part of us in the first place. I believe... Sorry, that was... Hopefully the mic didn't catch the noise that came out of my mouth there. But I believe I've heard the Epistle of James referred to as evidence of, or an example of castle doctrine, I believe it was called. That, again, if you weren't with us, then you must have been against us. And there is a pretty serious... I forgot to even use my card. Oops. There is a pretty serious discussion about that, because there are certainly people in the world, from the Christian perspective anyway, that claim to be Christians, but don't act very Christ-like. And so, again, the No True Scotsman fallacy, you can see why it crops up, and also why it is, in my opinion at least, often misused. Ooh. Yeah. Yera, I mean. Not yeah. And whoop. Maybe I should have done that on, like, some bombs. If I ever find any again. Ever. Oh well. So again, the argument, the fallacy, the discussion of the fallacy, the mention of the fallacy tends to crop up whenever... I should have used it there. Tends to crop up whenever anyone is trying to say that some members are not true members of an organization, but with something like Christianity, where it is very, voluntary, your participation in this organization, and there are absolutely people that don't act that way, then yeah, I feel it's not a fallacy in that case at all. But who knows? Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just my personal biases. You're free to disagree. But are you? Because another fallacy that I want to talk about today is the I'm entitled to my own opinion fallacy. Yes, that is an actual name of a fallacy, and another name for it is the I have the right to my own opinion fallacy. And basically, I mean, the fallacy itself is pretty straightforward and all. Let's clear these guys out first. There we go. Nice. Marbles. Ooh. That's gonna heal me. Oh well. It gave me a full heal even. Whoop! Ah, walked into that one. So this fallacy, I mean, look, if someone doesn't want to participate in a logical argument, they're free not to, okay? Let me first state that, but let me also state that having your own opinion or being entitled to it is not a valid reason to reject someone else's claims. Oh. Is it? No? I'm confused. Is it really here? I guess it is. Well, I got my bomb back at least. So, if you're discussing facts with someone, veritable facts, and they say, well, you know, I'm just entitled to my own opinion, that some things just aren't opinions like that. You know? Oh. Great. Wait a minute, I could actually use that. Yeah. I'm a genius. And a species. I don't want Bob's brain. I'm sorry to any fans of Bob's brain or Bob's burgers. Actually, wait. Oh, I was afraid of that. I was hoping it'd continue to be a health down. And I am out of bombs, so let me take that. Let's see. Again, like, you know what opinions are? What? Sorry, this sounds ridiculous and patronizing, but it's true. Examples of opinions are like, I like this thing, or I don't like that thing, I prefer this thing, or even you can have opinions based on, like, personal experiences. Oh, wait. You know, experience tells me that we should do this or shouldn't do that. That's fine, those are all opinions, and people are free to disagree because, you know, it's based on your own personal experiences. But if you're talking about something like, I don't know, global warming, and you say something along the lines of there are hundreds, if not thousands, of peer-reviewed articles that discuss the fact that the Earth is heating up because of, you know, like carbon emissions and stuff, and someone says, yeah, well, that's just your opinion. It's like, no, it's not. I don't know how to tell you that. Of course, I don't want to start any fights over it either, but it's very frustrating. Let's see, another fallacy I'd want to talk about today.
Experimental pill.
Absolutely, that's a great trade. I was getting too fast there. Another fallacy to talk about is cherry picking, because I have a degree in data, so I am well aware that this exists. I haven't really seen it used that much ever in person, but it is always a concern. Cherry picking goes by a whole bunch of names, actually. Oh! I think this is a win by this point, and I am going to use my Bible up there. Cherry picking is also known as suppressed evidence, incomplete evidence, argument by half-truth, fallacy of exclusion, card stacking, or slanting. Again, lots of names. Oh, not there? Not there? Huh. Up here? Up here! Oh. And you for good measure. Wow! Nice. So, cherry picking, in effect, means that someone is using individual cases or data to support a conclusion while ignoring, intentionally, often, although I guess it could happen unintentionally, while ignoring relevant cases or data that are suitable counterexamples. So, hold please. So, for example, wait, why did, oh, is it my buddy that has, Lil Horn effect? I guess so. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So, for example, if you're looking at a pretty big data set that's on, I don't know, something controversial. I didn't think of an example for this one specifically beforehand, mind you. And, oh, there it goes! I swallowed it! So you're looking at a data set that's pretty big, pretty complex, and you ignore like 99% of the data, and talk about conclusions about the data as a whole, even though you're ignoring 99% of it. Generally, that is what people call bad. Don't do that. If you're going to draw conclusions about the entirety of the data set, then actually look at the entirety of the data set. And I got to admit, although I never did it, but when I was working on various graduate research when I was in college, I can say that there really was a temptation of, wanting my research to be successful somehow, and if I'm just not really seeing the results that I want, then, maybe I could, take this particular example a little out of context, and it's fine, right? Well, no. It's not fine. And again, as a reminder, I did not do that, but it was a bit of a temptation at times. Sure. Box of friends. No. Oh. No. Yay! Yay! Let's see. Here's a really fun one. And oh. 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 Uh-huh. Yeah, I'll use it. Why not? It's only Necropolis 1. That's fine. So here's a fallacy with a pretty interesting story, and that is survivorship bias. If you know the story already, then you know why this is interesting. It's pretty neat. So, survivorship bias itself is 2 pennies. Is defined as promoting a small number of successes while ignoring a large number of failures. It sounds kind of like cherry picking, and arguably it is. But the story of it is pretty fascinating. Also, can you get out of the way? Okay. Yes, please. Oh! Well, there goes the need for the Bible. Aside from the insta-kill, but that's not a huge concern at this point. I don't know what's with these guys and their propensity to spawn little buddies. They've been doing it so much recently, especially in the daily runs. I am gonna go back for that bomb real quick. Call me crazy. And whatever's in there. And it's a lot of money. I am fine with that. What is in here? I don't care so much, so let's go. So, survivorship bias is not something that tends to show up as something that's intentionally done, like cherry picking is. Again, in cherry picking, it's someone who intentionally, intentionally may not be, intentionality in cherry picking may not be required, but it's certainly strongly associated with it. That, where with cherry picking you have someone ignoring something really obvious, survivorship bias can occur in some not so obvious ways. In particular, in World War II, I don't have the details of the story completely memorized, admittedly, so forgive me if I'm a little sloppy with my details here, but in World War II, it was something like a statistician, or was he even a statistician? Was he working on something else? Ooh. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. That's reasonable. Ooh, yes. Well, whoever he was, whatever his name was, I apologize that I don't have it memorized. There was a man studying the best ways to reinforce the armor on airplanes during World War II. Oh, what is it? Oh.
Ancient recall.
That was very loud, right in my ear. Thank you. I care more about the magician. Let me plop this over here. And take you. And now, I profit. Range and shot speed. Hey, better than nothing. So, again, I believe he was British. Actually, I'm pretty certain about that. A British man was tasked with, with reinforcing the armor on airplanes so that they're more likely to survive the perils of World War II. And what they found is that all of the planes that were coming back from the war had a lot of, blindness, had a lot of bullet holes in the wings. And so the first natural conclusion was, okay, we reinforce the wings because they're getting shot at a lot. But as it turns out, that didn't solve the problem. Making the armor on wings heavier did not significantly increase the survivability of the pilots. And then it finally struck the guy, the man who really came up with survivorship bias, although I'm not sure if he coined the term, because again, excuse me here because I'm going off of a lot of memory. I'm doing this episode a bit last minute too, but I'm feeling like a little lazy about it. It finally struck the guy that, oh, there are no bullet holes in the fuselages of these planes that are returning from the war. Perhaps that means that that's where we should increase the armor. Because perhaps this suggests... Oh. No thanks. This suggests that although planes can return from having their wings being shot full of holes, it might mean that they can't return from their fuselage being shot full of holes. And indeed, increasing the armor on the fuselage, the core of the airplane, did help the airplane survive, the various perils of air combat over Europe. Not over Europe. But, again, that's just a pretty fun example to me, and a pretty neat example of why fallacies aren't always intentional. These things can crop up perfectly naturally, in ways that almost make sense at first. Please die. Thank you. I'll accept your money. Again, whatever. Stop giving me money, please. Oh, nice. Oh, nuts. Yeah, I have the bombs. I'll go see what's up. Great. Wonderful. Is it worth taking whatever item this ends up being? I mean, I know I have a choice between two, but I've, Curse of the Blind, which kind of matters. Oh. Sorry, I'm going in for a bit of a desperate approach here. Ooh. Left or right? Well, as we all know, the right is right. And now the left. Yay! I chose correctly. I think. I mean, I have no idea what the alternatives were. Maybe I got the worst of both items. Who knows? Next up, I want to talk about the Gambler's Fallacy. And yeah, I'll see who's in here. Oh, it's Envy! The Gambler's Fallacy involves random chance processes. Oh, I swallowed my demon's tail. Cool. More specifically, it involves independent random chance events. And it's the belief that despite the fact that these are supposedly independent chances, that somehow they do end up influencing each other. Let me enunciate more clearly. I shouldn't have gone in here. For example... Oh, you gotta be kidding me. I'll just bomb through. If you consider flipping a fair coin a certain number of times and then expecting, a certain number of heads to appear. Specifically, something like this. If you flip a coin 10 times in a row, and it comes up tails each and every time out of 10. 10 in a row. You've received 10 tails in a row. That's pretty impressive. But the Gambler's Fallacy would suggest that, okay, next time is most likely to be a heads, because you can't get tails 11 times in a row. That's less likely than getting it 10 times in a row. So the next one has to be heads. It has to come up heads next. But in reality, because these processes are independent, that means that the true probability of the next coin toss being heads is just what it has always been, 50%. 50-50. Next up is ad hominem, which is attacking the arguer rather than their argument. But that's a long way to go, okay. But I'd like to note something about ad hominem here, that it's not always a fallacy. Sometimes, in some examples, it is appropriate to attack the character of a person who is making an argument. Particularly if they are endorsing some view that they are a total hypocrite about. It matters who they are. And if a person endorses a view, perspective, or policy that they clearly don't agree with themselves, then what reason does anyone else have to support those same policies or views or perspectives or whatever? But that's the case where it isn't a fallacy. There are plenty of times where it is, because, ideally, you're just making a logical Ideally, you're just making some sort of abstract, logical argument. Oh. Well, worth it. And so who you are shouldn't really matter to the veracity, whether your argument is true or false, No, I thought too late. I am sad now. If this ruins my run, I'm gonna be even more sad. I'll have you know. It's not that bad. I'll accept it. So much money. Oop. Ah! Let's see, up next is the burden of proof fallacy. Yay! That actually seriously benefits me. The burden of proof fallacy is the claim that rather than the person making the argument, it should be the opponents of the argument that prove whether the argument is true or false. But that's not how it works, you know? You can't just shift the responsibility of proving your own argument to other people like that. If you claim, or actually you see this very clearly in any argument where people conclude with, prove me wrong. It's like, no, it's your job to prove yourself right, not other people's jobs to prove you wrong. Let's be clear about that. Now, the last and final fallacy I want to talk about today is the Fallacy Fallacy. This is what I hinted at yesterday. It's the idea that if an argument contains a fallacy, that the argument itself must be false. But that's not necessarily true. People's arguments can have flaws, and yet their conclusions can be right. Yay! This gives me fear. Oh, Degas. What gives me the... whatever. I was wrong. Don't hold that against me. So again, if you come across someone using a fallacy, or, I mean, arguably they don't use fallacies, it's more that if you notice a fallacy emerge from someone else's arguments, that doesn't necessarily mean they're malicious or manipulative or even have a bad conclusion, just that they don't have a foolproof argument. That's all. So remember, love each other. I get that that's totally non sequitur. It's a missing the point fallacy, I suppose. Or is it? Because, you know, have tolerance for other people and give people the benefit of the doubt, unless they repeatedly prove themselves unworthy of that. And be kind to people. Anyway, that's enough discussion about fallacies. I'll talk about something else tomorrow, but it will remain in the area of philosophical, moral, or ethical, broadly speaking, and probably has something to do with ancient Greek philosophers still. So, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I hope you learned something, and I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.